Hey everyone, Mick here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the size of calorie deficits, what they are, how they affect you, and how to pick the right one for your goals. So what is a calorie deficit? Well, a calorie deficit happens when you start taking in less calories than what your body burns. This forces your body to start using stored energy, mostly fat, for fuel. We all burn a certain number of calories each day based on what our body needs and our activity levels. This is known as our total daily energy expenditure, or our maintenance calories. And in order to create a calorie deficit, we need to know that number. Now, I have a video called Calories 101, How to Eat Smarter and Control Your Weight. And it goes into a lot of detail on the basics of calories, what they are, how to find your maintenance level calories, and also how to track your calories. I'll put a link in the description for that video. But for now, the quick answer is to get your maintenance calorie number, you want to look for a total daily energy expenditure calculator online. That will give you an estimated maintenance calorie number. And this is going to be based on your age, your height, your weight, as well as your activity level. But remember, that number is just an estimate, so as you go, you might need to adjust that number up or down. Once you know your maintenance level calories, you need to eat below that number in order to lose weight. And in order to make this work, it's important to be tracking your calories. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the idea of tracking calories, but if you don't have an idea of what you're eating, you could be in a calorie deficit that's either too small or too high without even realizing it. And the good news is you don't have to track forever. After a while, you're going to start getting a sense of the calories that are in the foods that you eat regularly. And honestly, I think anybody who's looking to improve their eating habits should try tracking and do it for a while. It helps you learn so much about yourself, your eating patterns, your habits, and your behaviors. So, how big of a calorie deficit should you be shooting for? The size of your deficit will determine your weight loss progress, how you're going to feel during the process, and whether you could stick to it or not. So let's break down some of the effects of small, moderate, and large calorie deficits so that you can decide which one works best for you. Let's start with the small deficit. A small deficit is typically in the range of 100 to 300 calories less than what your body needs per day. With a small calorie deficit, you're typically losing about a half a pound or less per week. It seems like a small amount, but it can give you steady fat loss over time. The biggest advantage is that it's easier to stick to long term. Because you're not drastically cutting your calories, you're not going to get too hungry or too tired. And you'll find that your energy levels are going to stay more stable. And another benefit is you're going to have less muscle loss, especially when you're combining this with strength training and enough protein. Because you're not starving your body, you're going to be hanging on to more lean muscle. But the downside is your weight loss results will be slower because you're just not cutting as many calories. So it's going to take longer to see your results on your scale and in your body composition. Now let's talk about a moderate deficit, which is typically around 300 to 500 calories a day. Now this is the one that I use and that I recommend because I think it's the best for long-term weight loss. In this range, your weight loss is going to be about a half a pound to about a pound per week. Now, this rate is sustainable for most people. It's fast enough to see progress, but slow enough to limit the amount of muscle loss and drastic hunger. With the 300 to 500 calorie deficit, you're cutting enough calories to lose weight, but at the same time, you're able to keep your energy up and not get as fatigued. Plus, at this level, you can maintain most of your muscle mass during a moderate deficit, especially if you're getting enough protein and sticking to a good strength training program. Now let's talk about a large calorie deficit. This is typically between 500 to 1,000 calories or more of a decrease per day. Now the people who are doing this are looking for faster weight loss, but it also comes with some downsides. Obviously, a big benefit is that you're going to get faster weight loss. You can typically expect to lose between 1 to 2 pounds per week. And that can be very motivating, especially if you're looking for quick results. But there are going to be some downsides. First, with a large deficit, there's a greater risk of losing muscle. When you eat such small amounts of food, your body can actually start breaking down muscle tissue to use for energy instead of using just fat. The lower calories can also make you feel fatigued, give you constant cravings, and cause big drops in your energy levels. Because of this, your body can start feeling deprived, which makes it harder to stick to long term. Another risk of a large deficit is a metabolic slowdown. This happens when you start cutting your calories too much. Your body actually slows down your metabolism in order to conserve energy. And as a result of this, it can make it harder for you to lose weight and also to keep it off long term. So how can you tell if your calorie deficit is too big? Well, if you're feeling constantly tired, hungry, struggling with cravings, your deficit might be too big. If you're starting to lose a lot of strength or muscle, your body could be breaking down the muscle tissue and starting to use it as energy instead of fat. I remember years ago going on very strict, extreme diets and just seeing the muscle tissue withering away. You might also have sleep problems, mood swings, or be hitting a weight loss plateau because your metabolism is slowing down. If any of these things sound familiar, it's time to rethink your approach and not have such an extreme calorie deficit. So what's the best deficit for you? Well, I think the best deficit is the one that you can stick to long term. If you're looking for steady long-term progress, I think the moderate deficit of 300 to 500 calories per day is the best route. It's effective and it's manageable, and it won't leave you feeling drained or tired. If you want a more gradual approach, then the small calorie deficit is the way to go, but just realize that your results are going to come at a slower pace. And keep in mind that a large deficit might give you faster results, but there are risks that are associated with that. Ultimately, it's about finding what fits your life and your goals. And most importantly, remember that consistency is the key to success. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like what I had to say, click the like button, subscribe, remember to stay active, and I'll see you in the next video.